It's draft time. How are you feeling going towards getting ready to fulfill the destiny? Because, like you said, you wasn't really even thinking about that early on. Did it hit you while you were in college that this NFL thing is tangible and I might be able to get up through there?
Yeah, so I can remember my freshman year. My agent, not my agent, but other folks and agents be hitting you up. You know, like, hey, you possibly could. Go to the league and this and the other. You could be a high draft pick, blah, blah, blah. So, but you got to put the work in, right?
Yeah.
It don't matter unless you put the work in. Facts. But then I came back my next year, got hurt, and then came back off that, whatever, going through 99.
Yeah.
And then draft time come, and it was like, I just knew I just needed to go and run fast.
Yeah.
Jump high.
Yeah.
And just really, just do my thing and be who I was, and went through training, for that for 3 months, and went to my pro day, and I ran a 4.38. You know what I mean? I had a 40.5-inch vertical.
Yeah.
And by that time, my stock had went up. So it was like, but it was a lot of running backs, in that draft.
Yeah.
So Ron Dane, Sean Alexander, Thomas Jones, myself, and then there was one more, Redmond. I think J.R. Redmond, one of them. Yeah. But it was a lot of running backs, you know. So whether I went first back or fifth, still a lot of, everybody went in the top 2 rounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was one of them. It's really changed, right?
Yeah.
You don't even see a running back go into the second round now.
Come on.
But it was just one of them things where I just knew I just needed to go put the work in, and I needed to just control what I can control, and because I didn't know where I would go in the draft. I only played 25 games in college, you know what I mean, and I got injured, you know, whatever. So it's kind of like, and really I left because I was like, there's nothing else I can do here.
Yeah.
And it was just put a lot of politics, whatever. So when you're dealing with that, it's like it's not fun anymore. And, now it's a business.
Yeah.
And I might as well go get paid. You know what I mean? To
Right.
business, right?
What was going through your mind, though, when you get injured and then you got politics going on at the same time, man? Was that stressful as hell, or was it just a young man trying to figure it out?
Man, it was a lot of calling home to my mama.
Yeah.
Like, calm me down so I don't go off. Or do something crazy.
Exactly.
So that was really, it was a stressful time, but it built me, you know what I mean, to be able to deal with adversity and deal with, other people's stuff, you know what I mean? And that, hey, look, it ain't gonna always go your way, but at the same time, control what you control, and everything will work itself out, right? But that was stressful, but at the end of the day, I was just like, I'm gone, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go to the draft.
Yeah.
And, and that was it. And I just committed myself, to training and trying to be the best running back I could be, and the best interviewee I could be, and trying to put the lipstick on, you know what I mean, and make myself look good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For 32 teams, whatever, 30 at the time. But anyway, the Ravens, one of the coaches from the Ravens, I could kind of tell he was a little high on me.
Yeah.
And he was the running back coach too. And they had 2 picks in the first round that year. So it was kind of like, I don't know. But, they try to play it where they don't tell you anything or they don't hint anything. So, because they don't want to tip anybody.
Yeah.
And then somebody else take you. But they had that 5th pick in the draft, man. And shoot, they ended up taking me, with that pick, and it was like, shit, now I got to go to work.
Okay, Mal, you number 5 in this draft, coming out of the west side of Atlanta.
Right.
How did that feel? How did the city react to all of that? And what was going through your mind when you knew it was time to go to work?
Man, it was crazy, just because, being from Atlanta. Yeah. I think we really proved something too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of cats didn't make it out, whatever, and I was able to kind of do that, and it's a fine line, you know what I mean, that you got to walk in order to attain that and get there, you know what I mean, and it was, it was cool, man. It was just really, really good for the city, and I had a lot of guys come up to me after that and was like, man, I should have stayed with football, Or you know what, man, if I didn't get hurt, no, this shit harder than that. Man. There's a whole lot of, there's a whole lot of other stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But break down that too outside of the game, the other stuff that goes into being great. Because I mean, a lot of folks think it's just as simple as picking up the ball and running fast as you can.
Yeah, no, it's like honestly, man, it was more of you got to be a professional.
Yeah.
And you got to always be trying to elevate and add some things to your game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And always going in and working on your weaknesses and trying to, it's short. You know what I mean? It's one of them things too. It's short. Football is short.
Yeah.
Entertainment is short. You know what I mean? Sports entertainment is short. So, you got to take it, as it comes and really be able to maximize every opportunity, that you can get. And anytime I touch the field, it's like, this is an opportunity. So, like the off seasons, I didn't really travel a lot. I trained, what I mean? And because I knew it would be over, one day. And, and you can do all that stuff when you're done. But at the same time, it's just being at a high level, and performing at a high level all the time, and you always got to be on, and that's on the field. Off the field, you got to be on too.
Yeah.
Just because you got somebody trying to take you, somebody trying to break you, somebody trying to get you. So, you know what I mean? Like, you just always got to have your head on the swivel and just and just know, and I was 20 years old going into the NFL. You know what I mean? So I was young, with millions of dollars. So it's like, you're always. You always got to keep your antennas up.
When that money came in there, though, Ma, what was going through your mind at that time? I mean, lifestyle changing and stuff like that. Family, how was family reacting to it when they're like, okay now, okay now? You see what I'm saying?
My family was pretty cool. Honestly. Okay, I didn't really have. Any issues. My dad, was pretty good. He had his own business when I was coming up. My mom, she worked for corrections or whatever, so she still had her job, or whatever, but she retired after my rookie year. So
real fast.
She retired after my rookie year. But it was just, man, it comes fast, and you got a lot of people that's after you, and you can't go, and I learned a valuable lesson. You can't, kind of go and do some of the same things that you used to do, or associate yourself with some of the same people that you used to, or whatever, and it's, but it's a lesson learned, and I was one of those guys too. Like, man, why Jamal Anderson? I don't see him coming through the hood. You know what I mean? Like, I'm over here on Bankhead, and the only person I see is the
folks you grew up with,
the dope boy, riding in the nice stuff. You know what I mean, and doing that. So a lot of times in the hood, that's who you looked up to. Whatever, and you can kind of dig yourself into a hole. So I learned about that, very very quickly, and it was like I said, it was a life learning experience, and something I think I needed to go through, or whatever. But at the same time, the government is a bitch.
Come on now.
Sometimes, Jamal, and I understand exactly what you're saying. Sometimes, as in football, like you said, sports entertainment is the same with entertainment, period. So I always had a problem with cutting niggas off that I grew up with. I always felt like, had I done that, I'm fake now. I don't sold that. So I struggled with that shit. And like you say, going back to the hood made me feel like I was keeping it real. Even though I was putting myself in harm's way to be robbed, for traps to be busted, to be, you know what I'm saying? And I learned a valuable lesson too, because, one time when the trap got hit, motherfucker didn't say, well, he didn't have nothing to do with it. So my point, they didn't. I went to jail behind it. So my point to you was that tough, having to cut off, partners that, sandbox, y'all grew up together. And when you finally did, how did it benefit you mentally and, your pockets?
Well, I think that, it's tough because, you got friends and you grew up with and all that type of stuff, just like you said, whatever. But it's hard to really just say, oh, man, I'm just cutting this person off. You done did some things with this person. Like, don't nobody know. You know what I mean? And it's like, but at the same time, man, it's like it's all a part of growing up. You know what I mean? You got to grow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes some people gonna get left behind. You know what I mean? And sometimes they had a chance and the same opportunities that you could have had.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they chose to do something different. Whatever. But at the same time, when it's what you know and it's who you know and it's the community that you're from or whatever, it's like. It's like, damn, this is what you're used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's real hard. But when you do learn it, and you do learn how to let go, you know what I mean, of some of those childish things or people or whatever, you just realize, man, it's like a weight off your back.
Yeah.
And sometimes, man, you just got to forget about it. And at the same time, guess what? They'll get over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll get over it. And if they don't, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes, it's one of them things too where, you try to give people chances too.
Yeah.
You give people chances to better themselves by using your platform.
Correct.
You know what I mean? But you got some people that don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to use your platform. They just want to use you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you distinguish between the two and that person that's trying to use you? You just got to get rid of them versus somebody that's trying to better themselves and say, look, let me jump on your platform and do my thing. You know what I mean? Because eventually I ain't going to be playing football forever.
Yeah.
So maybe I can jump on your train when we done. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but a lot of people don't think like that, but that's part of growing up. But when you do learn how to let go and let people go and be real, you know what I mean? And because that's like a weight, and it can hold you back from other things. You know what I mean that you're trying to go accomplish. And but that's like to a lot of these kids out here now. It's like, man, you just don't know, man. Like that friend that you got in high school, that ain't gonna be that might not be your friend 10 years from now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you sacrificing for them. You know what I mean? And dedicating yourself to them.
Yeah.
And you need to realize you might not even be talking to this person in 5 years.
Exactly.
So, like I said, it was life learning just about everything. You know what I mean? That can happen and stay out their way.